half the total damage to the character by itself.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of setup, right? Like Lynette gives her tons of buff, a lot of debuff from
from
Wrath and Fior.
Yeah, you have to do both to get that full benefit on there and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I see it. I see all the pieces. So I tried to align those pieces for me, but without the awakening on Lynette,
it doesn't work. No worko.
So,
yeah,
I just get the little old 30%, and it's not bad, but
yeah. Yep.
No big deal. I know where my if I get a choice someday, that will be the choice.
It sounds like you get a choice for first anniversary.
Yep. So only 6 months.
2.5.
Oh, I thought we just had the half. I guess the half was in December, and that's been a while since then. How does time work anyway? Who cares? This is done.
Time flies like an arrow.
Yeah.
Fruit flies like a banana.
Wait, what?
You've never heard that? Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana.
I like that because I had to think about it for a second because you mean fruit flies. You don't mean fruit flies.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
because I would guess
a banana.
But an apple
fly weird, but
an apple wouldn't fly like a banana. An apple would fly like a baseball.
What's the spin rate on an apple? Are you juicing those apples? I don't know.
Who just got caught? Was it Scherzer and thrown out of a game?
He says that was, but yeah, absolutely.
The mess.
The mess. Ooh, that tea is really hot. Okay. We won't be drinking that until after the podcast. Whoops.
It'll be cold by then.
We'll work it out. I have a new tea kettle, you guys. And hello. Welcome to episode 355 of We Were Gamers.
Hello.
Tea kettle edition. Michael's here.
Hey, everybody.
JJ's here.
Hello.
We'll talk about food stuff to start with, like we always do. I have a new tea kettle. It makes tea to a temperature. It makes water. It's not a tea kettle, I suppose. It is a water kettle, and it makes water to a temperature.
Is this one of those electric ones, or
yes,
are you just talking about a thing you put on the stove?
No, it is an electric plug into the wall, press a button thing.
Okay.
Even the green tea setting I find to be quite warm.
I mean, it's supposed to be
here.
Very hot. The water that you steep tea in. It's supposed to be hot.
What I like about it is that if you're going to make coffee, which I know neither of you are a fan of coffee here, but coffee is not supposed to be boiling. You're supposed to brew coffee at under boiling, and it has a coffee setting, which is kind of nice. Boiling water will make your coffee bitter. So this is one of the reasons we got this kettle.
I was going to say, I think that's the same thing for tea.
Yeah, you're supposed to pour it just shy of boiling.
Yeah, so black tea supposedly is boiling. I don't know. But green and white teas are definitely way under. Way under.
Yeah. If you get the fancy kettles, they have different settings for each type of tea.
Mm-hmm. That's the one we've got. Michael?
Sir.
Food. I have to say, we talk about these food festivals all the time on here. There used to be more of them in the day, but now we generally talk about the ones that remain, that have not been murdered by pandemics. And one of them is the Knott's Berry Farm Boysenberry Festival, JJ?
Oh, yeah. I've been to that one several times. Good times are had by all. The last one I went to it last year. Maybe 2 years.
I don't understand how they give the portions they give, first of all. But I have to say the food might need a revamp. They need to get in there and change it up a little bit. The macaroni, that needs to stay. Maybe one or two of the desserts need to stay. But maybe they need to switch it up a little bit.
So you say that, but to me, this year felt very different from a lot of their other years in terms of the food offerings.
It felt lighter for sure.
Yeah, it felt lighter on the number of offerings and also lighter on the use of boysenberry in the dishes in general.
Which to me is criminal.
Yeah, that seems like antithetical to the point if it's a boysenberry thing.
It's in the name of the festival.
Yeah. Some of them have gotten down to like, well, it was in the marinade. And it's like, well, that means you just had like fruit juice in the marinade. And most of the time you can't taste that afterwards. I mean, you can, but you can't distinguish blackberry from boysenberry in something that was marinated and then not cooked in it.
They do I feel like that's a common move, though. It's like, hey, we made smoked meat smoked in this kind of jam. And you're like, it just tastes like barbecue sauce now, because that's what happens when you mix it with all the seasonings that go on smoked meat.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sugar content. Sure. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, that was exciting. Never mind then.
Hey, at least there were mudslides.
You know, I think I had too many mudslides, not from a I couldn't drive home scenario, but like, oh man, that sure was a lot of dairy.
Not from a alcoholic beverage consumption standpoint, but from a, oh God, the sugar.
Yeah, I guarantee. Yeah, I guarantee you the alcoholic content of those was less than a beer, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
And the pours were not large. Like all the tasting card pours, they even warned us this year. They're like, you know, that's 12 ounces instead of 16 this year. And it's like, okay, it's fine. I can live with a 12-ounce beer. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
But some of the food portions were still huge.
Yeah. Well, they're figuring out. They're trying to figure stuff out. Well,
they're following the optimization axis for most money, least effort. Somewhere, right?
You know who else follows that axis? Mobile game developers. I know the game we're playing. I guess we'll talk about COTC before this. I don't know. We'll talk about COTC, Champions of the Continent, for those of you tuning in for the first time. Good job. 355 episodes in. I'm proud of you. Welcome.
I thought you wanted to ask about the other food thing that I did this weekend before we transitioned away from food. Because I was going to say the opposite of that axis is what we did.
That's a better transition. I had yours down.
Food.
I had yours down after another thing I had written down for Japan. So it was gonna close the episode.
Am I breaking the transition train? I'm sorry.
Well, you know, we talked about how I'm just perfect at this now, and so
that's why I'm apologizing, because I didn't want to deprive the people of the perfect.
No, it's fine.
Transition train going off the rails is a hallmark of the game.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll put the Japan segment now, and we're gonna talk about some sushi.
Yeah. Rounding out our Michelin star campaign, we went to the other sushi restaurant in San Diego that has gotten a star.
Okay.
Yep.
A star?
Awesome. That's all.
Single star?
Yeah, single star.
So we talked about this last time. So that means that the service component was more standard in terms of what you would expect from a normal restaurant.
Yeah, and there, it's still like a, omakase type menu, right? But they have a menu.
Mm-hmm.
I think they also do non-omakase service, so they have like a more standard menu also for people that don't want to do that. But once the service portion begins, it is very, it's still very nice. They have like, fancy plates for everything. Everything is made very pretty on the plate.
Oh, the plating was I think what people picture when they picture an expensive sushi restaurant.
Yes,
here's your one piece.
Yeah, but also like, bro, that one piece.
Oh, I'm sure it's amazing.
Like the 5 pieces of sashimi you got, and they tell you which fish is which, and it's like the one that they have like propped up on the leaf displayed in the center is there for a good reason. That's the good one. Not that all the other ones are bad, but it's like these are all good, but this is the one that you want.
So do Is that a per table setting, that plate, or is that per person?
It's not clear to me if like I could order it and my partner could not, or like if I was at a table with multiple people, if some people could get it and some would not.
Oh,
I
okay.
would bet they want the whole table doing the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I do not know that.
Gotcha.
We both did do the same thing, so there was no confusion there.
All right, now at a sushi restaurant of this style, you did omakase, which means you did not order per se.
Right, they had a menu and we just got whatever that was. Like there's no choices, stuff just shows up. Although they did ask like, "Hey, are you allergic to anything? Is there any fish that you can't have?" Like that kind of stuff.
How many people outside parked their Maserati and came in and ordered a California roll?
So this place is not in the nicest. It's in a nice neighborhood, but you would never know this place is like a fancy Michelin star restaurant from the outside. It's in a like tiny strip mall next to a liquor store, and like I don't know what the one next to it is, like a print shop or something.
The best
It's like
place to find good foods.
the most unassuming exterior possible,
Mm-hmm.
and inside it's like a nicely put together sushi restaurant, and there's like 6 tables and a counter that has like maybe 6 or 8 chairs. Not a very big place.
Wow.
Okay.
But the food is great, and there's like 2 servers for the entire restaurant because it's tiny. Like, what do you need multiple servers for, really? And then the people behind the bar, cutting the fish and doing the things.
They call those chefs generally.
Yes. Yes, they do. You're correct about that. So that is to say, no, there were no Maseratis and there were no people ordering California rolls. Although they did definitely, while we were there, people came in and were like, we have a reservation for 4, but we have 2 other people. Could we just like squeeze them in? And they're just like, no.
Nope. Mm-hmm.
Good.
Good. Get out of here. Nice try.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, well, like they have extra seats at the bar. Could they just go there? All the seats are reserved.
No. For like 3 months from now.
Well, no, actually, though, this place was much easier to get reservations at. They open reservations at a certain time each month for the whole month, and then you just sign up for whatever you want. It's not that hard to get reservations there, but I think that they did have reservations that day for most of the restaurant, and they were not going to like fit 2 people in randomly. That's not like how that works.
Oh, okay.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So highly recommended. The name of the place, I'll give it a free shout out. Sushi Tadakoro. Yep, great. Down in Old Town, San Diego there. Really good.
Nice. Speaking of Japan, we haven't talked about anime on this podcast for a long time.
Not since we got back in the robot.
I think the last thing was you told me, Andrew, to watch that Cyberpunk anime.
Yeah.
And then I didn't do that.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know that you need to watch this, but I need to talk about it for a second.
Okay.
Have either of you heard of Jojo's Bizarre Adventure?
Yes. That is a name that I have heard.
Do you know anything about it?
I have watched parts 1 through 3.
Oh, you have watched
4.
a lot of it.
I don't remember which one is the one that I stopped on.
Oh, okay. Did you stop purposefully?
No.
Just sort of ran out of watching.
The new part changed a bunch of things, and I like drifted. I didn't like it as much as I liked the earlier ones.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. Michael, it's some sort of, I don't even know how to describe it, JJ. It's like an anthology.
Crazy.
It's an anthology series, I guess.
I don't know how to.
Okay.
I mean, every season is a thing.
But even mid-season, sometimes they change what's happening.
How much have you watched, Andy?
I've just saw, let's say, so that Michael doesn't get a spoiler, his grandson just appeared.
Okay.
They were like, look, it's a grandson. And you're like, wait, what happened here? Mid-season?
Is that mid-season?
I think it's
it is.
mid-season 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm really forgetting the very first season, how that goes. I know where it ends, but I
Mhm.
don't want to say anything because I think you haven't gotten
I have
there.
not gotten there.
I
Uh,
will say, yeah, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is very weird.
they call it bizarre, and they sure mean it. It's not like One Punch Man, Michael, that we were talking about. That's a oh. I'm gonna have to sneeze. Oh, it's stuck.
I would say
Like,
One Punch Man has like a bizarre series of like encounters, and like the character is weird, and it's like his interactions with people. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is definitely a like there's no you think there's a main character, but obviously like there are a lot of more characters that get introduced as things go along, and it becomes less clear who exactly JoJo and
Who
what the Bizarre Adventure is.
who is JoJo is an interesting question. Uh,
Andrew, you have no idea.
so also I was mentioning One Punch because we had talked about that shonen style, and this starts off like it's gonna be one of those shonen style things after like 2 episodes. The first episode you're like, oh, I'm watching a pastoral reflective anime, and then 2 episodes in it's like, and now I'm gonna teach you how to power up. And it was like, wait, what? How did he have magic powers all of a sudden? And like,
Are they learning the what's the name of
Hamon.
it? Hamon. Yes. Okay.
Hamon.
I didn't want to say any words that are like spoilers because I know a bunch of stuff. Yeah, Andrew,
Yeah,
it's a shonen though. It's not.
it is. It's not
Don't-
not. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
not.
definitely
But like,
is. It
I was
definitely
trying to
is.
say, it's not one of those. It's not a pun or a critique of a shonen. It turns into one, even though
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like it's going to be one. Michael, the best part of it, Jojo is named after the Beatles song. You know, Jojo was a man. You know what I mean?
yeah.
His enemy's name is Dio. His
Dio
teacher's name.
Brando.
His teacher's name is Zeppeli. Zeppeli's teacher's name is Ton Petty.
Okay.
Ton Petty's greatest students are Dyer and Straits.
I see where this is going.
Uh-huh.
It literally doesn't stop for 6 more seasons.
Jojo's best friend is REO Speedwagon.
Oh, no.
The Speedwagon Foundation is really like a thing that they say like with a straight face.
I when Richard E. Speedwagon came on the screen,
Richard E. Speedwagon.
I thought to myself, there's no way they can continue this amazing joke. And it sure kept me going every time somebody else showed up with a new name. I've got to say, what a strange. I think it's a manga, or was a manga.
There definitely is a manga for it. Long running, I believe. It can still be ongoing. I'm not clear about that.
But it definitely has the feeling that they are just deciding to adapt a manga and not make it. You know how like Naruto was like, we're going to take the pages word for word, and it's going to take 60 episodes to go through them because we have to add stuff in and like keep making sure that we're behind the manga and all this sort of stuff. This is very much like, what's the spirit of the thing? Let's get to it. Hype. So I'm very
really
taken with it.
I really want you to watch. Get to the end of this part. So I guess they are arranged in parts, which sometimes take multiple seasons. It's not clear to me how that stuff is divided up or how people
Okay.
think about them in the fandom.
Yeah.
The thing that you're watching has a name, and then these subsequent things also have names.
Yes.
And I don't know where the divisions of the things are, but I know I know where I have stopped in terms of
Uh-huh.
like what happens in the story and stuff. but up to what I have seen, I hope you watch at least all of that because of how ridiculous it is.
It seems like it's some sort of cultural critique I don't understand, but also a very strange love letter to the West.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I don't think there's a cultural critique there. I just think the guy's like, you know what's cool? Bands and like music and stuff. These are cool names. I'm just gonna use them.
I mean, but Dio, the stuff that happens to Dio is based on Dio's songs.
Yeah. It's like,
so, you know, I mean, if we go to Winslow, Arizona at some point in this anime, I'll be not surprised, is what I'm saying, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
I'm very excited that you're getting into JoJo's. It's just like the weirdest thing, dude.
It's very strange to me. I don't know if it's actually strange, but it seems strange. I think it is strange.
You're having the appropriate reaction, I think. And I think the people that go like watch this, I think you get like I feel like you'll know by the end of like the third or the fourth episode whether this entire series and show is for you at all. And you'll just be like, I'm into this, or like I'm good, and then you can just turn it off.
Look, every time he yells Sunlight Yellow Overdrive in Japanese English, I think I'm having a great time.
Well, let me tell you, there's a lot more yelling of things to come, so you're probably good.
Okay.
That's not a spoiler.
No, I don't think it is. Now that the Japanese segment is in the middle here, I think we have to transition to a game in the Japanese segment. A remake, even.
Unheard of transition to video games here.
Yeah, hard left off of food and anime, which somewhat related. Most anime characters eat quite a lot. However, I don't think I've ever seen Samus Aran eat anything.
Or even, remove her helmet.
I mean, I've seen that. I play Smash Brothers. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And like, what was that one Metroid game where she doesn't have armor, right?
Zero?
Is that? I don't actually know. I didn't play it.
Oh. Well,
where are we going with this? Sorry.
Michael, how is Metroid Prime Remastered?
It's good. I really liked it. So I fired it up over the weekend. I didn't have a ton of time to play it, but I did get through a hallmark of Metroid games, which is the opening segment, where you have more abilities than you do at the end of the opening segment through some sort of misfortune.
Yeah, well, because Metroidvania.
Right, you got to start from the bottom of the hill and climb your way back up.
She can't have all her powers. It would be unfair.
Yeah. But it's good. The graphics look really good. The controls play pretty cleanly. I like that they give you the option to set your controller style. So you can set it to be a like modern dual stick, or you can set it back to the classic controls from the original version.
That's cool.
What?
More things should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if I want that. Like,
well, but some people do, and that's the point, right?
But somebody sat there and thought about, I guess the Switch has the option to plug in a GameCube controller still, so it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that makes it make sense, right? If like,
yeah,
well, if I have this controller and I'm using it, like,
yeah,
can I use the thing the way it was?
I think if you didn't have that ability, I would be like weirded out, because why would you want to go backwards on a system? But I forgot that you can still use that USB thing to plug in, because there's a Smash Brothers on there and people want that controller, so that makes sense. Okay, yeah, that's cool then. I'm glad they thought about that.
I think it's clear that I would never choose to use the old control scheme. I want the new one. That was kind of the point of the remaster, I hope.
Yeah, but GameCube, more than a lot of other systems, People who love it are diehard about that controller.
It's okay. That controller's okay. I do actually like the triggers on it much more than some modern triggers. Now, not more than like an Elite controller or those new. You know what I got for I converted a PS5 controller, and I got those little clicky triggers.
Yeah, how are those?
It's like clicking a mouse. It's you lose the tension stuff, but for a first person shooter or something like that, where you know, I mean, like in Horizon, I guess you have that tension need, so I would use a normal controller. But in like a Apex Legends, which is what I've been using my PS5 for, it's fantastic.
Very nice.
So, what other stuff changed as part of this remaster, Michael?
So that's kind of a hard question for me to answer because I never personally played the original.
Well,
I've
on
seen
my
it played and I've seen it speed run, but I haven't played it myself.
isn't that the name of the game nowadays? It's like, yeah, I saw a speedrun of that. That looks
Yeah,
cool.
well, you know, at a certain point, I just assumed I missed the boat on this one because, you know, their remasters weren't even an idea for a while, and GameCube has been left behind. So
I have a digital version on my Wii U, so
there you go.
we can compare it. Is what I'm saying. We could do that if we really wanted to, or we could
That
just
sounds
decide.
like research.
Yeah, or we could just decide about you telling us how good this version seems to be.
Yeah, I really liked it. You know, I knocked off some of you mentioned Horizon. I knocked off some of my twin stick gaming rust to play through this one, but it's good. It's good. You know, it's got it strikes that tone that you want from a Metroid game, that is the balance between exploring and combat. Where, you know, I have 3 different directions I can go here. What's behind door number 2?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a space pirate that's trying to kill me.
I remember them taking some Mario 3D mechanics for the boss fights, like the 3 pattern, you know?
Uh-huh. Yeah, but it's good. It's good in you know, in terms of the combat, I'm still feeling out the controls, but the targeting seems really good.
Is
Trying to remember what some of
Is
the
this
complaints
game the
about
one
that.
where you had to like switch modes in order to target stuff and it was like really annoying?
So there is that. You have to switch back and forth between the scanning visor and the combat visor.
That's still a thing?
That is still a thing. So you can't when you go into combat, if you want the log entry, you have to switch to the scanning visor and scan the enemy before you start blasting away.
Hmm.
Is this the one where you can't run and shoot also?
That's a good question.
You mean
I
like
don't know that I
sprint and
have.
shoot? Because I know you can move and shoot.
Yeah, you can move and shoot. I don't know that I have gotten to the point of it telling me do this to sprint. So, unsure.
Okay. I probably don't have the right words for what I'm trying to describe. I'm not the biggest
Are you thinking of
Metroider.
using the speed boost?
Yeah, like once you start, it's like kind of once you start going, you can't stop, right? And so then you get in trouble.
Hmm.
Am I thinking of the wrong? Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong game. It's very possible. I don't know really what I'm talking about
I
here.
will report back once I get deeper into it.
How
Okay.
does Talon 4 look? I think that's the name of the planet in that
Yes,
game.
it is, and it looks good. It looks good. Like I said, from like right off the bat, you can tell that the graphics have been upgraded.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start on the space station above the planet on a, you know, typical Samus investigation, but you can tell right from the opening moments that they've cleaned up the graphics. Everything just looks sharper.
That's cool. I remember some of the bosses from that game. Like I can't remember the name of the giant pirate and I mean everything's like a not well explained, some kind of experiment situation, you know what I mean? Like it was the kind of end of that era of 3D shooter where they didn't bother really explaining too much.
Yep. It's also the kind of thing where how much time do you want to spend scanning every computer in the space station on your way
Oh, and
towards
then
your
reading
destination?
and reading.
Right.
Yeah. Have you unlocked Morph Ball yet?
So you start with the morph ball in the
Okay.
opening section and then you lose it, and I have not gotten it back yet.
I always found that it was weird in that game because third person didn't really exist yet. There wasn't Gears of War. I don't
Uh-huh.
think I don't think Gears of War was out before this game. I'm pretty
No, no,
sure.
this has got to be before. This is GameCube era. Gears of War
Yeah.
came out on 360, right? So
Xbox 360, yeah, I think.
yeah, so
So
that's after.
it would be after this. So like switching from first to third person was actually really strange for me. It kind of made me like not nauseous, but it was like, whoa, I wasn't prepared for that camera motion at the time.
Pulling back to behind you and then
Yeah.
jumping back in.
Well, and the morph ball is pretty quick, so like the camera movement was a little rickety at the time.
Yeah.
I wonder how much better that is now. You know, I think now we're used to like the static third person camera much better, right? Like the Dark Souls genre and the Gears genre and all those have kind of standardized that over the shoulder view and camera lock, but that didn't really exist then.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah,
It's a good start.
That is a game.
I had a. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that is a game with a lot of wacky upgrades. You should tell us about your favorite one when you get to them.
Okay.
Thinking back to the time when this came out, was it a big deal to people that this? Oh wow, it's like a Metroid first-person shooter now, even though it's kind of not, but it kind of is.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Was it like? Did you personally think it was a big deal? I think at the time I didn't really think much about it. I was like, oh okay.
Oh no, I definitely. A friend of the pod, Ryan, got the game for his GameCube, and I went over to his place and I watched him play through the whole thing. It was I mean, it was probably one of the best sellers, if not the best seller on the GameCube. I'm sure Smash Brothers was probably better seller, but like I remember it being I think I don't know if I had Edge magazine or a Nintendo magazine at that point in my career. I might have been so cool by then and had Electronics Gaming Monthly.
Whoa.
But I remember all of them, like all the magazines were like, oh my God. How can these graphics and the Metroid formula be converted to the first person view? Oh wow, it's amazing. And like now you look back on it and it's kind of like, okay, yeah, seemed like a natural step, right? Like she shoots things. You could shoot things from first person, but like, I don't know. I mean, taking a game and changing its genre was kind of unusual. Now you'd see Zelda's genre change every 5 minutes. But
I mean, every Zelda game is a different Zelda at this point, right? Like,
yeah, I remember trying to play it at Ryan's house and being like, I don't understand these controls at all. So that's why it kind of threw me off when you said that they could go back to the old controls. I was like, oh, why would you? I'm sure the new controls are better and more intuitive to a modern console player, you know?
Oh, for sure.
I remember being thrown off by the controls and being like, what is shoot? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I think at this point, right, you know, the GameCube is out, but the GameCube controller is nothing like a modern dual stick analog controller, right?
No.
And Halo had come out, so like Halo sort of, you know, pioneered the way shooters work on a console controller.
Yep.
But Nintendo wasn't listening at that point either. So I'm sure the original controls are kind of a mess if you don't have a GameCube. And I bet even if you do have a GameCube, they might still be kind of a mess.
Well, it's a mess to relearn, right? Like you're like, I'm going to shoot this. And you're like, oh, it's not R2, it's R1. You know?
Right. Yeah. You know, you're trying to aim down sights and that's not a thing. And you're like, what do I do?
Nope. There is no aim down sight in that game, Michael, just to warn you.
No, I know there's just lock on targeting.
Yeah. But very interesting lock on targeting too. But maybe they made it better. Yeah. It was a big deal, even though to us now it's kind of like, okay, yeah. Cool. Well, report back, man. Yeah. You're talking about like how it was kind of like a game that you think you might never have played. And I was lamenting that I have it actually digitally on the Wii U, and it reminded me of something that I was thinking about, and I bringing this up in the middle. I hadn't actually planned to talk about it, but since we're talking about it, I think I talked on here last episode about getting that DS from a family member that doesn't currently 100% function, and I'm going to try and make it 100% function. The 3DS scene allows you to just allows one to choose to hack their 3DS if they might want to. Did I say that carefully enough? I don't know.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. But the DS is more like a Game Boy, right? You just stick a cart in and it works. Should I get an EverDrive for that thing?
Gonna have to tell me what that is.
Michael, do you know what an EverDrive is?
I don't. I'm not familiar with it.
Well, I will. It's basically a cart. I don't remember the website. Here we go. I'm gonna link it in the chat. Okay, so it's basically a cartridge.
Don't say the website on the air.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not going to say the website on the air because there's multiples of these types of things, and yeah. They make lots of different ones that have different names. Basically, you can put a memory stick into these, and then the memory stick and the cart work together to bring SD storage to devices.
Okay.
Okay. So these are what's commonly known as a flash cart. This is some kind of other
a flash
word,
cart.
but
I could not remember I could not remember the generic word. Should I get a flash cart for the DS, or is that kind of dead with the 3DS scene being what it is?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to continue to use that piece of hardware that you make functional, I guess you could continue doing that. But if you're not going to physically use the hardware and you're going to attempt to emulate it, there seems to be no point.
Yeah. Well, do either of you have a bead on where the 3DS is on emulating DS level stuff? Like, is it good at going backwards? I guess is my question.
I don't know. I don't know that I've tried DS emulation on a 3DS. Are the carts the same or similar enough that you could plug them into the thing?
I know you couldn't put a 3DS cart into a DS. They're not the same shape, but you could put a DS cart into a 3DS.
Did you do that
true?
with all of them? Or was it just some of the first ones? Because I feel like, didn't they design that out of some of the later models?
No, there's no way. Should I check? I guess I could pull out a DS game and put it into a 3DS. I mean,
I certainly would believe that from the standpoint of Nintendo loves to do that crap. But I think that there are some pretty well-respected DS emulators out there from my very quick search.
Oh, we've talked about that on like trying to do it on the Steam Deck, etc. But I was just curious for like using. I don't know. I was like thinking about using the hardware, but I think it's also those are kind of expensive. Those flash carts these days. I think flash carts are kind of on their way out.
Yeah, because now you're talking about stuff that has to be made probably custom-ish for hardware that no one is buying and isn't sold anymore. So you're getting into like but I want to load my SD card full of SNES games and plug it into my SNES territory, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the ones for the DS are called R4s or whatever.
Yeah, they all have names.
Whatever. They all have names, but yeah, I had never heard of an EverDrive before this past week, but it was like people were talking about, oh, you could Stick those in there, and I don't know. Maybe I just want this thing to work because I want it to work. You know what I mean? But I was thinking about once I get it working, what could I do with it other than the 3 games I kept from the DS era that are not 3DS games that would go into the 3DS? I don't know. All right. Earlier, I was speaking of games that don't work sometimes, I guess. I was going to talk to you guys about the cheapest option is sometimes to just let it go. Mobile games. I went in and I was following a internet click hole. Have you ever heard of the game Creature Quest? Either of you?
No.
So it's a mobile game. It was made for iOS, I think.
That would be why.
Yeah, I don't know if it ever moved out of iOS. I was just thinking. I can't even find it on iOS. I guess that kind of makes my point, right? Is that the game seems kind of dead. It's still on the App Store. It's still on Google Play. It says it's on Google Play, by the way. It's on the Amazon App Store. I'm not advertising for it, but I wanted to mention it because it was made by John Van Kang.
Yeah, I'm on the website of the creator of that game. VC Mobile Entertainment is on a mission to bring the magic touch of founder John Van
JJ,
Canningham,
this is
creator
why
of Might and Magic, Heroes of
Yes.
Might and Magic.
Heroes of Might and Magic is why it came across my feed. Okay, he created Heroes of Might and Magic and King's Bounty, and we had been talking about those games recently, right? Heroes of Might and Magic. And his name came up, and I was like, what's this guy up to now? And it said that he had made a mobile game. I was like, okay, well, I should try this guy's mobile game. And I looked at the reviews of it, and the reviews of it were like, if you want a like low impact RPG game that had a lot of cool design elements, it's not the greatest, but it's kind of fun. And so I went in to download and install it. Boop, doesn't work. Just crashes. Can't load.
Yeah. Probably not updated for whatever the most recent whatever.
It reminded me of the most recent kerfuffle. Michael, I think you posted in the chat, like, hey, if you want Angry Birds, you better go get it.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
And, I went and got that, and I downloaded it. I paid the 99 cents or whatever because the huge Rovio, like, hey, we're gonna up the price and call it classic after this and blah, blah, blah. You know what that means for me is my 99-cent version in a year will not work anymore because they won't update it,
Probably.
Yep, that sounds about right.
It's a little unfair that there's no, and I don't actually know that I put it on the app developers as much as why isn't there some sort of compatibility mode for your phone?
Yeah, I think the developers of the operating systems would tell you that, oh, well, we've introduced all these new features and security and you need them so that we can, create unified experience, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, their update cadence is such that they're putting out new phones every single year and new versions every year and just eventually leaving people in the dust, right? If you have a phone from 5 years ago, at this point, probably modern stuff that is brand new won't work. And I wonder if even the old stuff would work. Like if
Probably
you could
not.
downgrade to older versions, would it even still work appropriately there? I don't know.
That's a good question. Who could say? I don't know. I felt like it was a realization that I had paid 99 cents for something that I'm getting my money's worth out of it for the Angry Birds, the classic version or whatever, but they'll turn it off. There's no chance. They're not going to just eventually be like, nope, we're not going to update that. And it's just not going to work anymore. Because now we can sell it to you again. That company specifically. It's the reason I wanted to mention it.
Sega, by the way.
Yeah, the reason I did want to mention it was because this game, Creature Quest, was by this guy that made King's Bounty and Here's My Magic, and his game, their game, obviously made it with a team, but that game will just sort of disappear to time, right? Is no real emulation scene for old phone games. like these flashcarts we were just talking about, or these emulators on the, where we can pull ROMs. There's going to be a whole genre of mobile games that eventually just disappear.
And to be fair, there are emulators for phones, but I don't know that they're focused on, you know, preservation and older versions of stuff. They're kind of focused on like the new stuff, right?
Oh yeah, I mean we used that emulator. What did I use the Android emulator for? I used it to get a card back for Hearthstone one time. Remember that? Where it was like you get a specific card back for having an iOS device and a specific card back for having an Android device. And I installed an Android emulator just to get Hearthstone working so I could get a card back. I know a lot of people you can't mention this on the Reddit because it's against the rules, but a lot of people use Android emulators for Champions of the Continent on their computer and then set up automated clickers and then go to bed, and they wake up and all of a sudden they've farmed Uni for 12 hours straight.
Or gotten enough materials to actually like craft armor and weapons and stuff.
Yeah. Not that would be within the terms of service, so you shouldn't do that if you want your account to not get banned. They have said that they will ban you for anything. I did wonder, Michael, the posts that I saw today on the Champions of the Continent subreddit from the Japanese version, does that constitute a spoiler, since they said we're not allowed to do spoilers anymore? That's against the terms of service.
It's not spoilers, it's data mining that they are against.
Well, you data mined the Japanese version by posting information from the
No, I think it was all the information that got posted was from an actual announcement.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Or the Japanese version, right?
Yes.
The Japanese version posts, here's what we're doing. And then people are like, here's what's coming to English in a year or whatever.
Pretty
right?
much, yeah. That's how it happened.
Well,
It is dumb that they don't like all companies are. I wouldn't complain about data mining for a minute.
Okay, you should.
Sorry. Yeah. This used to be really like common back in my day. Old man shaking my fist here. Data mining used to be super common. Like these companies would push out updates. I remember it a lot when I was playing Dota very frequently.
Oh yeah.
They would push out an update. People would data mine it and be like, here are the new things coming soon. There's this stuff. There's this stuff. This is a hero they're working on. Here's a bunch of things that are like in this code, but not available. Right. And no one ever said or did anything about it. And then all of a sudden,
Do you know why?
like people got really mad about it. And now companies are like, you can't post data mining. It's bad. And don't want to. Meh. What if you didn't put the stuff in the game that you didn't want us to see? What about that? Whoa, crazy idea. You can't data mine stuff that's not there. Like, what? If this is such a bad spoiler, don't put it in the game. Like, wait until it's ready. Like, I don't see how that's hard.
It's so funny to me when people come at stuff backwards, right? Oh my God, they've released information about our game that we weren't ready to tell people about yet. You're complaining that you have a community of people interested enough in your game to be data mining it, sharing it with each other, and talking about it, and speculating and building hype for something.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
what is wrong?
How
with
dare
you?
you talk about how dare you talk about our game? Wait until we tell you to talk about our game.
And it's not like any of it is. It's not like any of it is brand new either, because we're still behind the JP version. So like everything that we're getting, they already got, a year and a half, 2 years ago.
But Michael, they don't want you to know when the events are, so that you blow your rubies and then have to spend money.
But due to their update cadence, you can't ever know more than like a week in advance because stuff isn't in the game until that amount of time in advance anyway. So there's really like nothing gained here, right? Like, are people data mining stuff in this game that's like, months in advance? I don't think so.
No, because it's not there.
Yeah. So it's like, it's such a dumb problem. I feel like, there's a little more to be for folks who want to come back to me about like data mining is bad. Actually, like if you're talking about a game that is competitive and there can be like online situations where like, oh, data mining information about this that isn't public or something could give you some kind of competitive advantage. All right, we can like have that kind of discussion. This game is a single player RPG. Who cares? Like, oh no, I'm going to get +5 attack sooner on my sword by knowing this. Like, it has 10,000 hit points instead of 10,005. Like, oh no, my strategy has changed. Like, oh, who cares?
It seems to
Why is this a
really.
thing?
I feel like it has to come down to them not wanting you to pre-plan when to spend your rubies.
It must, but I just can't.
I guess, but like even then, people know what's coming and what they want to wait for, so they're just gonna wait until it shows up, regardless of whether or not they know it's coming.
And then they're throwing curveballs at us, right? Where they're like, oh, here's this unit. We've brought them out and we've buffed a bunch of their skills. Maybe they're now good, actually. You don't know because you don't know what the buffs are like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. Well, something that's no longer a data mine apparently is that while we've been here, they put out an announcement that the Bravely Default collab is indeed returning this week.
Oh, have they illuminated us as to how it will function this time around?
They have not. They just announced that there is a tavern talk coming to talk about it on Thursday, the day after it drops, which is
Nothing
Sure.
like not letting people data mine it and then being a day late to talk about it.
I will
Yeah.
simply wait until they tell us what's happening. Oh, it already happened? Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. I hope it's a step up and both characters are combined, even though I already have one of the characters, because I would like to get an copy of Idea before the next go through of this, just to have it over with. I have a feeling the warrior tower would be much easier with one more 5-star warrior.
I don't know. I've seen some videos of 8
got-
5-star warriors just squeaking by, so
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's not going to be easy, period. I think, one more than you, and it's not helping me.
Have either of you cleared level 4?
level what?
EX4?
Not of the sword tower.
Oh,
Not of either for me.
bummer.
Hey, did y'all finish the other one? Did y'all get to 90 or whatever on that?
You know
other one?
what? That tower has fallen to the bottom of my to-do list every week. So I usually get like three floors in per week, and then I just sort of run out of time and forget about it.
Yeah, so I'm on 80. I got halfway through the latest update, but I have not tried to keep going yet.
Okay, so I'm a bit above you guys then. Interesting. Yeah, I'm in like 84 or 85. I haven't done most of the EX fights though, so
Yeah,
I would say I've done almost none of them.
My ability to be perfectly efficient and use 10 tickets a week faded over the last month. Hopefully I can get back to it, but it's definitely one of those things that's like it's not as important as like farming the new gear. It's not as important as finishing the story was. It wasn't as important as trying to beat Glossum and get Glossum so I can try and do Gertrude, so I could try and do, you know what I mean? Like the ultimates don't seem like I need to get any more ultimates currently. So
yeah. It's like I've had no issue with resources in the ultimates. I have like so many ultimate seed materials or whatever.
really, I ran out of
buy
silvers.
More. Oh, were you like unlocking all the ultimates for all of your 4-stars? Because I haven't done that.
I think I have almost everybody's ultimate unlocked, if not everybody.
But leveled up past level 1.
Yeah, most of them.
Oh yes,
Okay,
yeah.
that's definitely
I do
why.
level 1 and stop unless I need them for something.
Yeah, that's probably wiser.
Yeah, because for most of the people, I feel like you just want if you're going to use it, you don't care what level it is. It's like, all right, yeah, sure, it's just a big attack or whatever. Like, kind of the level is irrelevant. And obviously, there's like specific instances like Lynette and other people where it's like actually level 10 is really the deal here. But like level 5, like what is? There's no difference between 5 and 1 effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's breaking points where they get slightly better in terms of their boost connection, but you know, it's just mostly for feats, you know, feats and that new tournament have gotten me back up into full pity range. I'm at 6,000 rubies again, so
Wow.
doing
Very
some of
nice.
those things matters.
Yeah, I'm at like 2,600, and I feel pretty good about that, given how much stuff I'm not doing.
I think I'm probably right in between you two.
Nice.
I feel that I have being forced to grind for those materials for the most recent like level of stuff has helped me get a bunch of like random 100 of this enemy, 100 of that enemy type achievements that I didn't have.
I sure hope they don't do this again, where you have to grind the base
Dear
mats
God,
off of
please,
fights.
please, God, please don't make
Well,
me do this.
I think base mats are gonna kind of go away. I think.
Well, we still
At
have one
least for
more.
the new weapon style that we get later this year.
Yeah,
There
but
will be one more round.
yeah, we have one more round of this, and I really hope I don't have to do this one more
Well,
time.
you can check and see how many empty spaces are there still in the tower.
There's one whole area that hasn't even opened up yet.
Well, there you go. So that probably will have more than 4 slots in it. Cross your fingers.
Check
can
it
say.
and see.
Yeah, you
Got
can't
a
go in there
fever
yet.
of 103.
Ooh, you brought it back to Jojo right there. Good job.
Is there a foreigner based?
Is there? There better be.
I don't know enough. I don't know enough JoJo's lore. There's probably Andrew. There's too much lore. I can't keep track of it.
It seems to be a thing that just keeps going with lore. It's like we're just gonna keep adding.
I really hope you make it through that first season, and I want to hear your opinions as you keep going.
I 1,000% am gonna make it through there. There's no chance I don't finish it at the first season at this point. But if there's other animes out there like that people should tell us about,
Folks can send those to podcast@weweregamers.com. That is podcast@weweregamers.com. Tell Andrew all about. Actually, tell Andrew nothing about JoJo's. Nothing at all. No, just silent thoughts.
Here's what you can text. Here's
well
to that.
wishes.
Here's what you can send there. Just send your favorite name from the show. No context. And it better be Richard EO Speedwagon.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and send that in. That'll be good. Folks should do that. I would be very curious to hear, because there's probably a bunch that I don't even know at this point. Yeah, that's podcast@weweregamers.com with your favorite JoJo names. I bet you could write a bunch of fake ones and we wouldn't know. That would be a fun exercise.
Real
that would
JoJo,
be real
versus fake. Real versus fake JoJo names is a new segment. 1,000%. Please send them in.
The trick is they're all real.
They're all real and they're all
otherwise, we're on social media @WeWereGamers, youtube.com/@WeWereGamers. Find us all out there and interact with our stuff. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Nice. We do. And we thank you for joining us on YouTube. If you're joining us on YouTube, there's a lot of people showing up on YouTube. I'm going to make these videos I'm going to redo the art on these videos in the next month or two and jazz it up a little bit with some background stuff. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm getting a little frustrated with our current template. There's some things I want to do and I can't do it with the current template. So there you have it.